Hello there, welcome and welcome back. I am Eva. This here is my trap. Now, you're in the TheDeauxDeaux. And if you enjoy good content, you will enjoy my channel. Go ahead and like this video because you know you're about to like this video. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel because you know you're going to want to come back. Hit the notification bell, my guy, so that you can be knowledgeable of whenever I drop, and comment under this video if you have any pressing issues. Let's get off into this next reaction. Now, this reaction is going to be kind of different. I looked at it and I was in awe of what I saw, and I think that it begs to differ many different questions. I'm gonna try to not interject too much, but if I do, it's just a passion. Let's get started.
Let's get into it. Mark Laita is a professional photographer turned YouTuber who grew up in Detroit and Chicago before starting photography studios in Los Angeles and New York in the 80s. He's mostly known for his work on the iconic iMac launch photos and for his YouTube channel, Soft White Underbelly. He was reportedly Apple's highest paid photographer at the height of his career, when he apparently turned his attention to a passion project: photographing and interviewing people in the so-called soft white underbelly of American society. Today, his YouTube channel, Soft White Underbelly, has a subscriber count of nearly 5 million subscribers, and it features thousands of interviews with subjects that Mark finds in the Skid Row area of Los Angeles and in the Appalachian region of the East.
I got hooked on Soft White Underbelly about a year or two ago, and it was mostly because DJ Ghost, my favorite streamer of all time, featured one of his videos, but it intrigued me enough to watch them. And I was watching one of them about incest. And I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of things that I have watched on Soft White Underbelly are things that I never even knew existed. I'm gonna take that back. I'm not going to say I didn't know existed, but I think I can say I did not know this is something that actual people actually had to endure, because I've never heard of this, or have been around it, right? But then it had me thinking, because I did have a situation with one of my family members that sexually abused me. And so with that being said, I think that a lot of times when people bring the undesirable part of the world to the forefront where people can see it, it garners more respect, because sometimes people have to see it going down or hear about it from a first-hand account so that it could be real to them, and it kind of like humanizes them, and it makes us admire what they've been through. I would even venture to say that you may have somebody that was intolerable of a situation, and they get educated about that situation, and then they make a change. I'm not saying that it always happens, but I do say that it can happen. And it's something that is so transformative that you don't even realize is happening. And I think that has 100% to do with the content creator that had created that content. Now, good or bad, that is left for you to decide. I can't say, I'm not going to make a provocative statement and say that this, this should be going on, this should not be going on. The content creator have every right to create whatever story they want to tell, and it's up to the person that is taking it in for them to be the ones to say if it's something they appreciate or don't appreciate. I'm simply here giving commentary and giving my perspective.
United States. These interviews are disturbing, jarring, and often upsetting. Mark prompts the subjects of his interviews to discuss some of the most traumatic and painful moments of their lives on camera. Many of them discuss traumas and turmoils going all the way back to their childhood.
What was the worst time of your life? Worst period of your life?
My childhood.
Like early childhood?
Yeah, my early childhood.
When I was 9, my dad was in prison, and he told my grandma to let me use his phone for my birthday. I was going through his pictures, and I found a video.
I'm good with my auntie and uncle. They took me in because I lived with my dad. He turned out to be a molester, so his wife left him.
Including sexual abuse, the foster care system, homelessness, and parental figures struggling with substance abuse. In the fall of 2006, a collection of Mark's photographs called Created Equal was featured in a Los Angeles art gallery as an exhibit for about 6 weeks.
All men are created equal. Okay, men and women. These days, we're living in a world of contrast and conflict. His name is Mark Laita, and his work is on display at the Fahey Klein Gallery in Los Angeles.
My name is Mark Laita. I'm a photographer. The name of the project is Created Equal. I'm trying to show how, we're all really the same. If you really peel off all the stuff we've picked up from our careers and from our environment and our upbringing and all that stuff, basically we're all, we all boil down to being the same thing. I've been doing it since 99, so it's been about 7 years now. Paired up in these images, you start seeing that we're all very similar rather than, we're all connected rather than very separate. They feel honored. They feel like, wow, somebody's really finally respecting me. They're not all the exact same formula. Some of them are very simple and basic, and the connections that are made between the two are very superficial. It's the outrageousness of a pedophile with a little trick-or-treater girl. You can almost somewhat mix them up and pair them differently, and they still kind of work. The concept is people are people, and if that's true, then you can almost take anybody with anybody, and they'll all work.
Throughout the next few years, Mark would earn his living as a commercial photographer, shooting campaigns for huge names like Gatorade, Visa, Estee Lauder, IBM, the English National Opera, and perhaps most famously, Apple. So by the time 2006 rolled around and Mark Laita was presenting his art in these galleries, he was a very well-established commercial photographer. Now we're in 2016, and Mark Laita creates the Soft White Underbelly YouTube channel, a self-proclaimed passion project. And despite his efforts with the Soft White Underbelly channel, the self-proclaimed passion project was kind of a flop from what I can tell. In the channel's first 3 years online, it had only acquired about 3,000 total subscribers. Maybe Mark knew it, or maybe he didn't. But 2019 would be the year that changed his life forever. On December 14th, 2019,
I think there's a lot to unpack with that, right? Now, I think I know the perspective where she is trying to go with this, but I'm going to give my perspective as far as the last statement that she made. There are a lot of creators that are on YouTube. I don't know the exact figure, but I know it's only 2% of those creators that are actually monetized. With that being the case, a lot of YouTube channels are going through different phases of being creators, right? You have the beginning phase, and unless you were already well known on some other platform, you're starting out and no one knows who you are, and you're trying to get into the algorithm so that people can want to view your content. Everybody's pace is different, and I think it has a lot to do with the subset of individuals that you are catering your content around. the beautiful thing about YouTube is that there is a niche for everything. And because humans are so complex, they are also complex in the different types of YouTube content they like to consume. Now, you'll have like a person like me that I only watch YouTube. I don't watch TV at all. That gives me an opportunity to watch everything under the sun. I'm just a person that is simply intrigued by the things that I don't know that I can become knowledgeable about. So it's like every single day I'm learning something different, and that's what keeps me going back to YouTube. And I don't see a world right now where I'm ever going to go back to just watching regular TV, because the YouTube creators are now the new channels. And if I can get something that I like from every different subscriber that I have, because I look at the different subscribers as also different channels, like, you know, different networks, I would say. There is an unlimited amount of content that I can consume on a daily basis and still not feel full.
Mark would publish an interview with a subject named Amanda Rabb. It would be the first of many interviews that would take place on the channel over the next couple of years before Amanda would eventually unexpectedly die at just 25 years old. But for our timeline purposes on today's video, just know that Amanda Rabb's first interview, from as far as I can tell, was published to Soft White Underbelly on December 14th.
She died. I remember her. I think she was a prostitute. I think that she came there with a black eye one time. I think he beat her. If I'm not mistaken, her pimp may have joined in on a interview with her. Now, I know like there's a lot of controversy surrounding his content. You have people that feel like this could be like, in a way, rage baiting. You have people that feel like you're exploiting people that are on, like, in, you know, in their lowest state, lowest form. They may just be doing it for the money, if there's money to be had, right? I can see that perspective, and I can acknowledge it, and I can say that I could also agree with that in some aspects. But I think that, one, these people have autonomy over what they choose to do with their life. If they make a decision to exploit themselves purposefully for $1, that's not far from what they're already doing, done with themselves, selling themselves short just by doing whatever actions they're doing anyway. So what I'm trying to say is, if you're already a prostitute and you're selling your body anyway, somebody comes up to you and offer you money for telling your story about how you got there, we can't really say that you're being exploited, because if that's the case, you're exploiting yourself every day for a very small dollar amount. What I appreciate about platforms as this, it's very reminiscent of I've survived Dead and Back and all those. I was enamored with the series for as long as it was on TV for, because the human circumstance is something to be treasured, because everybody has a different experience. Although I feel like we're all connected in that we've all shared similar stories at some point of our life, and being able to see it and hear about it can make us more appreciative of our journey. We may not be in that place anymore, but then we may be in that place. And having someone to reflect on while telling their story could be therapeutic. I don't feel like this is exploitive. I feel like this is something that at least you can learn from. At best, you can grow from. And the beautiful thing about these channels is that if it's something that you don't want to partake in, you don't have to partake in it. Nothing is forcing you to be subscribed to these channels. So yes, you can hear the think pieces on them. But if you don't want to partake, you don't have to. You can partake from a creator that is maybe reacting to it that have the same value system as you. I do that about No Jumper all the time. I don't watch No Jumper, but I watch the clips from other creators who breaks it down. See what I'm talking about? Alright, we're on the same page.
2019.
For you girl like you, probably nice money.
Yeah.
So, and what do you charge for a date?
Like $20 to $30.
Mark also linked a GoFundMe in the description box of Amanda's first interview, December 14th, 2019. Now that link is still there today, but the fundraiser itself is similar to the other one we just looked at, also closed. But before that fundraiser stopped accepting donations, it had accrued more than $100,000. The last donations made appear to be from 2 years ago. Anyway, speaking of fundraisers though, let's fast forward to January 7th, 2021, when Mark Laita apparently makes the first ever post on the official Soft White Underbelly Instagram account. The post featured another Soft White Underbelly fan favorite, Amanda Rab, and it encouraged Mark's followers to donate to a treatment program that Mark helped Amanda to get into. Unfortunately, just 4 short months later, Amanda lost her life in a Nevada treatment center that the fundraiser Mark advertised had helped to pay for. That fundraiser had raised nearly $40,000 before it was closed down. On August 24th, 2021, Mark started a company called Soft White Underbelly, LLC.
You were having some, I ain't gonna say issues, but you were just having some complications with the situation with the girl Exotic. Let's talk about that a little bit, and let's dive into that.
Yeah, I don't want to pull anybody under the bus. Here's what I'll say about that. So helping is not part of my channel. That's not what this channel, Soft White Underbelly, is all about. But I'm just a sucker / nice guy, whatever you want to call it. Adam would call me a sucker. Somebody else might call me a nice guy.
He ain't gonna call you that.
Whatever. No, whatever. But I'm helpful
that.
to a lot of these people. Some I've been more helpful to. And what people don't understand, like Azraya Exotic, got a lot of help. But the reason she got so much help, her video just took off for whatever reason. She's a very pretty girl, right? And her story was interesting, but it wasn't more interesting than 95% of the other girls on Fig that I interviewed. But there's something about her video that just took off. People wanting to help her, people wanting to marry her, people wanting to donate money. So I have a GoFundMe, a channel, a general GoFundMe. I don't target it for one person. I'm doing it for the Whitaker family, but that one's separate. But generally, I have a GoFundMe that just collects money, and I tend to spread it amongst all the people that I interview in different ways. But what was happening with Exotic is everybody was donating money and saying, I want this to go to Exotic. And
how much did that generate for her personally?
About $40,000, $50,000.
Wow.
For a young girl.
Off of a fucking GoFundMe. What the?
Her video got 10 million views. So I've got over 1,000 videos on my channel. YouTube Analytics, the YouTube Studio, which is a great app that YouTube has.
I have it.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
And they tell you everything you want to know about a video, including the ratio of likes to dislikes. And generally my videos, if it's a sex offender, it might get 93, 94%. If it's a drug addict, it'll get 95, 96%, 97. If it's a nice, sweeter story, maybe 98. Exotic's first video, got 99.6%. Highest by a long shot of anything I've ever done.
In September 2022, Mark sat in front of the camera on his channel to make a major channel announcement in like a 2.5 minute long video. He was basically whining that like the month earlier in August, YouTube had changed its advertiser friendly guidelines or whatever and demonetized like 2/3 of his videos or something. He was whining about money and the direction of the channel and whatever, which I mean, on the one hand, like, He gets on my nerves, and I kind of feel like boohoo, get over it, because I don't really like his content. But on the other hand, I would be remiss not to mention that that is a frightening and scary situation to find yourself in whenever you've
See, that's the thing. When we have think pieces that are biased, it's so biased. It spreads rhetoric that is either for or against whatever the movement is. I think that as content creators, we have to be responsible in how we report whatever it is we report. We should be unbiased to give the viewer the chance to make a decision on how they want to feel about it. And I think that's what's wrong with a lot of the content that I feel like is controversial, because instead of unbiased opinions, we have a whole bunch of people that get on their high horses and have chips on their shoulders, trying to tell you why they feel like this should not be going on. And at the end of the day, this is not their channel. This isn't even anything that would affect them if they never even turned their channel, turned the person's channel on. It's never going to affect them. You don't have to consume the content. And if you don't like the content, don't consume it. If you feel like it's harmful, that's one thing. But I don't see how Soft White Underbelly is harmful to the people that's being presented or to the people that are watching it. I just don't see it. Maybe I'm missing something. Let's continue to watch.
upon YouTube making certain decisions about your videos, and then, I don't know, I'm gonna just call that one karma. I don't know. He was upset to be demonetized, but he claimed that he wasn't making the videos for money anyway.
I'm not going to make money on it.
Right.
I mean, I actually did make a lot of money.
He advertises his subscription channel and encourages people to sign up if they want to support his work financially. He also verbally promotes the channel GoFundMe, which is the same one from earlier, that $104,000 figure. He puts that in the description box and says he's going to keep the ball rolling, doing what he's been doing, making his videos. He also makes the astonishing revelation that his related videos usually get 200 to 400,000 views in the first day that they are posted. And that's when the pieces all kind of started coming together for me. Mark knows that his videos featuring S workers get a ton of views. The man even knew the average of how many views they usually get in the first 24 hours off the top of his head. His first breakout stars, Amanda and Kelly, were advertised in the titles of their videos as prostitutes, which have now acquired more than 20 million total views combined. For those two women, he advertised specific GoFundMe fundraisers that were organized to help these women specifically. I remembered all the mentions of pimps and all the dozens, if not hundreds, of references Mark had previously made to pimps and his association with self-proclaimed pimps. It was startling, to say the least.
After I came back from Memphis, I was getting phone calls from pimps and prostitutes for months, every morning.
You make the money and you bring me all of it, and I decide on how we chop it up and how we make it happen.
Yeah, these are my girls right here. Like, we always used to kind of joke about it, like, oh.
So it seems like what he's saying, or what she is trying to get at, is that it seems like what he's trying to get at is she is trying to say that he has maybe an unhealthy fascination with the sex work culture, and that maybe he admires the pimps a little too much. But as I've said before, and I'm going to say again, we have to hold people accountable for their own actions. Unless you had been kidnapped and sold into sex slavery, you made the decision to have a pimp. And then, depending on the situation, like, unless it's a child that doesn't have a right to have consent to do so, you've chosen to do that for whatever reason you chose to do it for. So I think that it's not fair for people to be so hard on other people that is trying to report on this condition when they've made the decision to do it themselves. Now, like I said, that excludes the fact that if it's a child, if a person was forced into this lifestyle and they didn't have any autonomy at all. I would also venture to say it also negates there are a subset of people that had been forced to do drugs. I know kids that have been forced to do drugs because their parents needed somebody to drug with. I used to work in like a mental health hospital for children and for adults, and there are instances where their parents are drug addicts and they need somebody to drug with, and then once they have felt like they've gotten everything out of them that they needed, they sold them into sex slavery. That happens. So this is not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about people that have the anatomy to do that. So if you are forced to taking drugs and that led to you being sex slaved, then that doesn't apply to them either. I'm just talking about the people that are grown people that made the conscious decision to be a prostitute or a pimp. Now, what comes with that comes with that. So if you're a pimp and you know you're not supposed to be doing this, if you get 20 years in jail, then that's on you, because you made that decision to do that for yourself. And whatever backlash you have from coming on this platform and talking about it, well, you've done it to yourself too.
Do this to get some money.
You guys were in the streets before this happened?
Yeah. I mean, we're homeless.
Yeah. Ashley and Crystal, were you working as workers at all before
Before we met him?
Yeah.
No. I mean, I
got a couple questions for you, Mark. Okay, let's get into it.
What do you want to know?
You say you be out on Figaro late at night. Have you ever paid one of them out there for sex?
No, I have not.
You've never paid for sex, not one time.
No.
Never, not one time out on Figaro.
Never. No, I mean, I look like it because I'm picking girls up on the street and I'm driving them away, and I bring them over here, and there's no bed here, but I bring them back, and I don't know what that looks like, but I know what it is.
You know what it is, but ain't it always what it looks like? Ain't that what they care about? It's always what it looks like. Shit, they care about what this looks like right now.
Yeah.
On December 7th, 2023, Mark Laita posted a video.
Damn, Sharp went in, kinda. Sharp read him his rights
on his channel, and the video was of a naked, uncensored child. The child was introduced to the audience as Nova. Believe it or not, Mark didn't just stop there. He conversed one-on-one with this child about sex work and other things, and there appeared to be no parent or guardian there with Nova.
Have you been working some of the streets as a prostitute? How long has that been going on?
Since May.
Since May?
Yeah.
It's a horrifying life for a 13-year-old girl?
Yeah. Every time, like before I go to the blade or anything, like my stomach, it'll feel like I'm finna throw up, like, or I gotta use the bathroom. It's just.
These men know you're 13?
In the interview, Mark allowed this child to advertise her illegal services and even encouraged her to disclose where potential assailants and predators could locate her to take advantage of her even more than the sickos in her life already.
That's crazy. I did not know that. Now, I think that they did some editing, because when I first started watching this, which I clicked off of it fairly quickly because I know it's something I wanted to react to, but she wasn't covered up.
How did you get introduced to that? At 13.
She texted me at like 3 o'clock in the morning and was like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "Nothing." Laying down. I'm like, "What you doing?" She like, "I'm out trapping." And I'm like, "Trapping?" She sent the picture and I'm like, "You do that now?" And she like, "Yeah, it's fast money. You should do it with me." I told my mom, I'm like, "I'm about to go do a TikTok downstairs." And she was like, "Okay." And I'm like, "Can I do a TikTok in your car?" She gave me the keys. I put the keys next to the door and I ran away. I went and I got in the car and she was with this nigga. He had tattoos all over his face. He was playing music. He looked like a gangbanger. He was a gangbanger. He was a pimp. And I didn't even know that he was a pimp. So we had went to the Crenshaw Mall.
So your mom, just for those that are not aware, your mom was working as a prostitute as well?
I don't know.
That's what she told me in that interview that she did with me.
She told you that?
Yeah.
I seen a video of my mom on Fig. But I don't know if it's true. I hope it's not true. But it looked like she was on Fig. She said that she was walking from a club, but she doesn't go to clubs. And I heard in the past, like when I was like 5 and 6 and stuff, they used to tell me like, "Oh, your mom is getting money from dudes." And I'm like, maybe they're just friends, but so sometimes I think she is a prostitute, but sometimes I think no, she's not, because she has 3 babies to worry about at home. You feel me?
In my opinion, it was an advertisement advocating for normalizing and encouraging child. Truly nothing is sacred to the likes of Mark Laita. So that interview airs. And look, Mark's audience is used to deranged and depraved lunacy from this circus of a channel. I mean, just look at what he had his assistant do to that one man's testicles. But this blatant exploitation of a child was a bridge too far, even for them. See, a huge issue that the audience took with the initial video was that Mark took no efforts to censor the child's exposed chest. In the video, the child is wearing a completely see-through top, like there was absolutely no mistaking the child's entire anatomy. So when taken together with the full context of the video, like the fact that they were discussing sexual activities and services, advertising the exact location and types of illegal services that the child was being subjected to, even Mark Laita's audience simply couldn't just tolerate that this was art. The comment section blew up entirely. And from time to time, when Mark shits the bed like this, he'll delete a whole video. The man's extraordinarily fragile ego can simply not tolerate even the smallest inkling of criticism. So he did end up doing the right thing, in my opinion, by taking down that uncensored video. Unfortunately, he re-uploaded the disgusting video to his channel again, partially censoring out the child's areolas. Another issue that his audience took with the video was that the child had said her mother had lost legal custody or guardianship over her some months or years prior.
So you're supposed to be staying with your mom?
Yeah, but she kicked me out in December last year.
You just got kicked out on this, I'm gonna keep pushing.
But you told me out there that you're in the system?
Yeah, I'm in the system. Nobody has custody of me.
No one has custody of you?
My mama lost custody of me like 2 years ago because when she was abusing me and stuff, yeah.
So technically speaking, it was unclear who, if anyone, actually gave legal consent for Mark to air this video, publish the video, take the video even.
She called me and I'm like, "Oh, babe, the soft white underbelly video is out." She like, "Mom, what?" I'm like, "Yeah." She like, "So you gave consent to him?" I said, "Yeah, you did the video." She like, "So you gave him consent?" I'm like, "Yeah." She like, "Did you see it?" I said, "Yeah."
Speaking of legalities, the California Penal Code 311.10 makes it a crime to advertise, sell, or distribute child pornography. This includes transporting, producing, possessing, or duplicating any of this type of material. It's a crime to share child porn. It's a crime to hire, employ, use, persuade, or participate in the production of this type of abusive material. And it is a crime to advertise, sell, or distribute it. Mark had taken issue in the original video with people being upset about his actions. He basically said that anyone upset with this video just has too good of a life. This conclusion, obviously, and of course, fake.
It's not looking good. I'ma always advocate for the creator. I think that I like to reserve my judgment for people unless it's blatantly obvious that they've done something that's wrong. And I'm gonna be honest with you, the way that this is coming across seems very wrong. It's one thing to try to show people what's going on with the world, but then it's a whole totally different thing if you are promoting this. And it seems like that's what he was doing, is promoting it.
To consider that maybe people just have a soul and a conscience and feel bad for the child he was exploiting. But as usual, and coming as a surprise absolutely not to me, Mark took it a step further yet again by letting us all know that this wasn't even the worst of the materials. Oh no. He actually said that there was much more, quote, salacious material that he had saved for his more depraved audience who likes to see the worst of the worst. This segment of his audience pays a monthly subscription fee for this content. Salacious, just to remind you, is a word that specifically refers to sexual content. So Mark admitted to producing sexual content of this child and was offering it for sale to any predator on the internet that would like to see that type of content.
You just have to pay the $10 tier. That's what it is. If you want to see child, that's what you have to do. You just pay the $10. That's all you have to do.
Again, it's unclear who, if anyone, could legally consent to him even interviewing the child in the first place. So that happened, and then I guess to atone himself of the guilt, Mark decided to have the child's mother on the channel as well. The child's mother goes by the name Tania or Tanea, and she is a certain type of you-know-what worker. The child's biological father is also in this line of work.
You know, apple don't fall too far from the tree. She has a father too.
The mother seemed like an attention-seeking narcissist who really hated her own daughter and was jealous of her.
I feel like she started being jealous of me.
We're gonna pin my right.
I know this was gonna come. I don't know what the motivation for us knowing this really is, doing this deep dive. Although the information that we're gathering from it is very, very, very needed to know information for people who support that channel. But we have to also question the validity of the person that's creating this to see what their true intentions of doing this is, if they have connection to Diddy. Because this is the first known person that have described Diddy parties that isn't a famous person, and described it so eloquently that once this stuff started to come out, people automatically turn to this and say, well, hey, she said this 3 years ago. This is crazy. This whole mess.
YouTube. But yeah, you guys follow me or whatever,
But I don't know these people, so that's just speculation. Even beyond that, some higher up connections started to be made. This lady had actually already been on Mark's channel before. She was in an interview published on New Year's Eve, 2022.
I got myself into a situation where I was about to get trafficked, and this was like 3 years ago. It was a close one. You know, I came up on this prince, and he was Arabian, and he flew me to Miami, and he said I was going to be there for 2 weeks. We were in a $30 million house, and I ended up being there for a month, and I had to escape, okay? And we were meeting so many girls, and girls from Love and Hip Hop was coming in the house, and celebrities was there, and all of this stuff, but it started to get real weird, you know? It was a lot of drugs. I don't do hard like that. Like, I was smoking weed, you know, and they were doing hard drugs and stuff, and it was just like, it was getting, like, my gut was telling me something bad is about to happen. He was trying to, like, distract us with buying this stuff. We was going shopping and doing all these things, and for some reason I felt like I'm used to getting shit, but like this right here, where am I about to be tomorrow, and why are we still here? So then he says, well, we're gonna go to Cuba. So the girls start talking in the house, and they're like, girl, I gotta get back home, and he said that I can't leave, and I'm like, well, what is he gonna do with us? You know, we went to some celebrity's house, and we ended up at P. Diddy's house, and I just started hearing conversations, and I just got trafficking from it, because, you know, I heard the prince saying something like, oh, you can have whoever you want. Like, he was like selling us, you know? So I'm like,
Mark loves to signal his favorite and often most direct.
But then the thing is, I mean, I understand what she's saying, but aren't you a prostitute to be sold anyway? Didn't you come on this trip with a John anyway? But I feel like because they know their instincts of being in these dangerous types of atmospheres, then they know that it's something more than just selling yourself. You're gonna become a full out slave. And that's where she drew the line. This is crazy.
Interviews by posting them on holidays, so this tracks right on. Also, this lady, Nova's mother, Tanea, had been trying to launch her online persona for at least a year by the time her underage daughter appeared on Mark's channel.
Actually, she has been trying to make it since at least 2011.
Last on Surviving the Gangster. It was just a dream. To get caught slipping would be my worst nightmare.
Alright, have it your way.
If you got unalive me, just unalive me.
If I was going to unalive you, I could have been unalived you.
This is romantic to him, I bet. I can't do this. He's basically forcing me. Yes, she's yours. She's supposed to look like you.
She was reportedly on a deranged reality show called The Ladies of Fig or something, I don't really know. And she also had an active YouTube channel of her own, and it was up and running by this point as well.
My other page went up. I got a surprise for y'all. I'm posting other content on there. I think of all things so Christ who strengthens me.
On November 17th, 2023, just a couple weeks before her naked child would be advertising illegal services to a worldwide audience, Tanea posted a video of herself and her then boyfriend getting manicures in downtown LA.
So, we're here. Finally, we made it. Because it was Halloween. They suggested that, you know? But, yeah, I'm just glad we're here because he was trying to thank you. Duck and dodge this pedicure.
And that's where the plot starts to thicken even more. Guess who her boyfriend was in the video? A clown by the name of Crip Mac, a well-known gang member who rose to fame on another deranged podcast, a friend of Mark, No Jumper by Adam Grand Mason, aka Adam 16, aka Adam 22. But this got me to wondering, hold on, wait a second. Both the mother and the daughter have admitted to participating in S work. The mother has admitted a year prior on camera to being a sugar baby, which means that a man was paying her money for her companionship and other services. The mother's former partner, which would be Nova's father, was identified as a pimp.
Word on the streets is that Crip Mac has been spotted with your baby mama.
Hey, no, I'm finna say something about that. I just left her house and she said, I said, you Crip Mac? She said, no. So nigga, look it, man. Since you brought it up, I'm finna go ahead and air it out. She wanna be famous, bro.
So it really just made me wonder, what is the connection to this gang member clown, Crip Mac? Was he perhaps a pimp himself of sorts? Now hear me out. Is it possible that Crip Mac, as Tanea's boyfriend and Nova's stepfather of sorts, could have arranged the meeting between Mark and Tanea in the first place all the way back in 2022? Or maybe he could have arranged the meeting between Nova and Mark because he would have been acting in a way, like I said, as her stepfather of sorts. Does Mark have gang members trolling down Figueroa Street to bring in fresh blood for his deranged show?
Baby.
Her daughter out there on the motherfucking corner. You don't care nothing about your daughter. And you wonder why she came out how she came out.
I really don't know the answer to any of this. It's just things to think about. So anyway,
This is crazy. When I say she did her homework, she did her homework. She definitely did. This shit is blowing my fucking mind. I just don't understand. Like, you know, I've always been told by my mom that there are women that exist that are jealous of their children. And because they're jealous of their children, they purposefully do things that's traumatic, that will damage their lives so that they won't be healthy individuals. And a lot of times it's because they see something in them that they know they never had. And before you allow your child to surpass you in any way, be it financially, be it any way, they rather just ruin their lives so that they can still be the best person in the situation, which is it's all delusional thinking. Who in the world needs to be jealous of their own children? You had them. You are the reason why they exist. If it wasn't for your egg, they would not be here. That means they are a part of you, and they will always be a part of you. There is no reason for you to be jealous of your child. All of this is so heartbreaking, and it is not a surprise to me because I have seen this before. Personally, I've seen this happen to many women before, and it's sad, but that's a part of life that a lot of people don't understand.
Care video was on November 17th, 2023. And about 2 weeks later, on November 29th, 2023, Crip Mac, the gang member clown, had a falling out with another clown named China Mac. And it was announced that Crip Mac would be going back to jail soon. And about a week later, December 7th, 2023, that prediction would come true. As you can see in this video, Crip Mac was indeed arrested and booked and I guess put in jail. The same exact day is when the Naked Child's interview was published to Soft White Underbelly. So again, I just gotta wonder, when was the video of Nova even taken? When was it recorded? It must have been much earlier than that very day. But we get more clues from the child's mother, Tanea herself, on her own channel. The next day, December 8th, 2023, is when Tanea went back on Soft White Underbelly and talked a little bit more about her child with Mark. And a day or two after that, on December 9th or 10th, Tanea posts a video with her child on her channel, saying that the child, Nova, did not want to go to school.
So I basically let you just make the choice.
Yeah, you let me.
And what?
Yeah, you let me. You gave me more leeway now.
But I don't like what you're doing.
You just don't let me leave. Like you be like, stay, or you can't go this. You have to ask me.
I don't know what Tanea really expected, but the general population was very upset with her for essentially pimping out her own kid for views.
I said you could get a pink iPad, go on online school, be on some fly stuff, and you say, yeah, that sounds cool. So you could at least do that. All right, bet.
I don't think Tanea liked or expected the backlash, and like I said earlier, I do think the woman is a psychopathic narcissist, so nothing is really off limits for these people, but again, what do I know? I'm not a doctor. But Tanea did seem to be trying to take the blame.
This is definitely going to fuck up her credibility as to the story that she told about Diddy. I don't know if this is how it's supposed to be designed. The problem with all of this stuff, all of this propaganda, is that we are all speculating and we are all making decisions based on what we think is true and not the actual truth, because we don't know the actual truth. The only people that know that is the people that are partaking in it in their lives that they know. So that's why it's just like, once I know that this could be some type of propaganda, it is hard for me to take in the information that I'm being fed. It's just so difficult.
For the whole ordeal off of herself and to put it onto Mark. She said that Mark Laita is the reason that Nova was wearing that see-through bikini top bra. She said Mark offered to pay Nova extra money for wearing a revealing top, which I completely believe, because the man is a fucked up sicko with no morals or ethical boundaries who will do anything for money, but that's just what I think. The man is dangerous, and he needs to be locked up in an asylum and ideally lobotomized, but again, what do I know?
Hi guys, I'm Lima, the one you've heard so many wonderful things about.
Tanea also seemed to imply that Nova's video had been recorded much earlier than it was actually published, because she describes a timeline where Mark Laita was essentially hounding her for the consent to post Nova's interview.
It's like, oh, I hear that your daughter is on the street. If you want extra money, go find her so I can interview her. So I was like, you want me to recruit my own daughter? Like,
the bottom line on this though is that I think she's also a liar, so it's really hard to figure out which parts of her story are true and which are not. In any event, by New Year's Eve this past year, 2023, again, they love holidays, Crip Mac would come back online and state that he and the child's mother, Tanea, had broken up.
She's on blue fentanyl. fentanyl. She scammed me out of all the OnlyFans money.
Blue fentanyl.
Yeah.
Among other allegations, he alleged that Tanea is a, quote, junkie.
Blue fentanyl is crazy.
That sounds
crazy. Yeah. Nah, it's out here, though, on phone number. That's really what's out here.
That's why she's so scrawny and she look like she's dying. I felt sorry for her, but I'm not with no shit. They got a million kids in a drug habit. What the fuck I look like a church?
This video was proof that Crip Mac is getting finessed by his new girl, bro.
Oh, hood!
That other sitch, she was trying to let us know. The one that tape leak.
This nigga paid for me to be his girlfriend, like.
And at this point, I'm just starting to wonder, with all these overlapping cast of characters who have been all on each other's channels and who have financially benefited from that over and over since at least 2022, which was 2 years ago at this point. What really is the connection with these people? What really are the charges on Crip Mac or whatever his name is? Then there's this other guy, Mark Leta, isn't arrested. Why not? I don't know. But it just makes me wonder, how did Mark actually meet Tanea? Could it have been through her boyfriend? Because the last time we talked about Mark Leta, we learned he met one of his biggest viral hit at that point, Kelly, from her boyfriend. At this point, we know Crip Mac was Tanea's boyfriend. I don't know, just things to think about. I'm sure, as you can imagine, and I'm sure as some of you know, there is a whole lot more to the story, but I really just wanted to hit the highlights. In my opinion, and from my reading of the California Penal Code, Mark Leta has violated more than half of the child pornography statutes by soliciting, encouraging, producing.
So it seems like she's just going into what she feel about it right now. Listen, I think that exploiting a child is the very bottom of society, and I feel that if anybody exploits a child, they deserve whatever comes to them. Anyway, yeah, this was a hard one, but I hope that you enjoyed the content. If you enjoyed the breakdown from the content creator, please go ahead and sub up to her, run her views up. If you enjoyed me reacting to this content, you can go ahead and subscribe to me, run my likes up, and thank you for making it to the end of the video. Y'all be easy and stay dangerous.